legislative session is in high gear in Tallahassee. A lot of new bills that touch pretty much all of our lives. We're talking raises for teachers, changes to the state pension system, changing alimony laws, and even changes to daylight saving time. Senator Darren Soto, a Democrat from Orlando and Kissimmee, is with me this morning to talk about some of these proposed laws. Senator, good to see you. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
I want to start off with the issue of pay raises for teachers. That's the one that's gotten the most attention in the media these days. Where is that at this point?
Well, the governor has proposed $2,400 in bonuses for teachers, but keep in mind it's the legislature that actually carves the budget. The House has put that in their budget, but has asked that 50% of it be tied to merit pay systems. Those merit pay systems for right now, since the statewide one hasn't been fully rolled out, will be determined by each individual school board. The Senate, I expect to release something similar to that today or next week.
Okay, a lot of people are saying this seems to be a bit of a flip-flop for the governor. He had talked about layoffs, now he's saying there are going to be bonuses or pay raises here. What do you think is really going on?
Well, certainly there's some inconsistency in that they had all passed this teacher merit pay system last year that he had signed into, or in 2011 that he had signed into law, and now we're talking about his call for them to get the money automatically. I certainly applaud the governor for doing it, even though it is inconsistent. Obviously, there's a political aspect to it that he's running for re-election and is trying to impress the voters. But since our teachers as well as our state workers haven't had a raise in 6 years, certainly some increase because of that, I think, is critical at this point.
That's the Republican idea. Is there a similar Democrat idea on the table, or do you just get on board with what he's talking about here?
Well, our concept is that we have to increase the wages by at least 5-6% for all state workers because they haven't had raises in 6 years. And now we finally have a budget where we can do that. They really took a big hit with the cost of living and everything. They're 6, 7, 8%, depending on the analysis that you see, behind where they would be otherwise. So I think it's the right thing to do, and my fellow Democrats believe in the same thing.
You know, many of the issues in Tallahassee this year are tied to money, as they often are, but only this time it's a little bit different because there seems like there's actual money that you're dealing with this time because the economy's getting a little bit better. How is it different negotiating some of these issues this year than it was last year and the year before?
Well, it's far more pleasant, obviously, to begin with. We're dealing with over $3 billion more in the budget than last year. The governor proposed a $74.2 billion budget. The House has proposed today $74.4 billion budget. When you're talking about where to lessen the cuts, because these won't get us back to where we would have been if we didn't have the Great Recession, it's obviously easier than if we're talking about just how much we're going to cut on what cuts to education, what cuts to healthcare. So in that aspect, it's far more pleasant and gives us far more hope for the future. You're going to see over $1 billion more in education. You'll see, even though it won't be a straight expansion of Medicaid, you'll see federal dollars flow through the Healthy Families program, and you'll see roads, more roads being built, economic development, environmental protection, over $70 million for Everglades. Lots of things in the budget now that will certainly help the future of the state of Florida.
Let's keep along the theme there of public workers. Changes to the pension system being debated right now, going away from a pension maybe into a 401k type of system. What are your thoughts on that? Good idea, bad idea?
Bad idea because there's no need. Why fix a system that isn't broken? We have the 5th strongest pension in the nation. We're funded at about 85% of total payout, which 80 is considered good. I think this is politics. This was an ALEC drafted bill that they're now pushing in the House. The Senate has a much different bill, and just to explain the changes, in the House, all new state workers would be forced out of the pension system and into an investment plan. In the Senate, they basically have that the default would be you'd start in the investment plan and you'd have to opt into the pension plan. You know, these state workers, they work for many years, have very low salaries, and if you looked at the performance based on their contributions with the investment plan, maybe they'd provide for a year, 2, 3 years of retirement. So we're really going to have a much poorer pool of workers who are going to apply for these positions because of the lack of security afterwards. And the bottom line is we just don't need it. We could fund our pension system. We're not in risk like Illinois or some of these other states that borrowed against their system in a poor way. We've done the right thing, and we need to just keep rolling with it.
Now you're saying politics plays into this. In what way? How would somebody benefit by switching it to a 401k type of system?
Well, it's no doubt that state workers have been big fans of the Democrats and big fans of moderate Republicans, and there's a very right-wing element of the Republican Party that wants to take away their ability to communicate, to support candidates, to do all sorts of things. So to make the jobs less attractive, and also to ingratiate some connections in Wall Street and otherwise. There's politics all over this. This model legislation that they're putting forward was drafted by ALEC. It's almost word for word the model legislation that they're pushing around the nation, and it's an assault on state workers and on unions.
Now, very quickly, where is that one in session right now?
Right now, the House is, I believe they already passed it through this past week, and then the Senate, it just went through appropriations the other day. Big differences, though. Obviously, the Senate doesn't mandate and end the pension as we know it, and also there's the problem that if you don't have new folks going into it, it really puts in jeopardy the folks who are already relying on that pension. That's also a big issue that we're dealing with.
All right, stick around. Darren Soto is going to be here, the senator from the Orlando-Kissimmee area. We have much more coming up, including a look at college tuition increases and also his proposal to keep daylight saving time right where it is right now. We'll talk about that straight ahead here on Orlando Matters.